Amy Savin loves to write life, that's how she terms it, write life, and sing it. And we're going to just tune in to the story of her life in these next few moments. Amy, welcome. Your sister was in that band?
Yes.
And some other very important people who make beautiful music?
Yeah, actually, skipping ahead to talking about when I lost my voice, she would do a lot of my music when I couldn't sing.
Really?
So, well, I wanted to see what the vocals sounded like, so I'd play the melody for her, get her to sing it, and so she's been a huge
What's a sister
help.
for? You grew up in a pastor's home, and your dad had to take a little bit of teasing on the last name. But you don't pronounce it Savin. Savin, it's Savin.
Yes.
But right from the age of 3, and you know what impressed me immediately was to learn that at the stage where most parents are concerned about what's happening spiritually in their kids' lives, you got very serious about it. Mm-hmm. Grade 7?
Grade 7, 8, yeah. I think, well, I was never one to follow the crowd. I always wanted to analyze and kind of make my own decisions, and during those years I knew my friends were doing things that I couldn't always participate in, and so there was loneliness, but then I thought, you know what, there's a stronger friendship that I'm missing out on, which was the friendship between me and God, me and Jesus. So that's kind of what filled the void, and we went from there.
And I love that you say the more time you spent with the Lord, the more you experienced His love. Mm-hmm. This was a real relationship for you. So it must have been earth-shattering when you were very busy in music, piano, singing, mm-hmm. barbershop quartets, church choir, great environment to develop your musical gift. You lost your voice.
Yeah. It was,
seriously.
Seriously, there's no jokes. I couldn't talk, and when you whisper, it's worse, but moments of silence for a long time. It was during my grade 12 year in high school. We were just doing a lot, and there was one rehearsal, a lady was coming in to kind of test out the quartet, see where she wanted to put us in the program, and so we had to perform our music for her. And my voice was kind of feeling hoarse that day, and I was the high tenor. And my teacher's like, you know what, just do it. I know you're feeling under the weather, but do it. And so I thought, okay. So I put all of my gusto into there, and I hit the one note, and I hit it, and I started talking, and my voice seemed to drop like 2 octaves, like sounded like a man. And
you blew a fuse.
I did.
It was the nodules.
It was.
It happens to some people,
yeah.
doesn't it? And so you couldn't even really speak?
No, well, when I did speak, I found myself running out of volume and sound, and my voice would just, it was weird. It's the weirdest thing. It's not a sore throat. It's just, I don't know, very kind of gone. I don't know how to explain it.
Well, it wasn't just your voice that left.
Right.
It just seemed to be a spiraling down. Mm-hmm. Emotionally, you lost weight. You ended up dropping out of school.
I did. Well, there was just, I think because of all the emotional stuff that was going on in my life, I just began, I started kind of pulling out of crowds. I hated being around people because the more people I was around, the lonelier I felt. You couldn't communicate with them, and so a big room of people was really scary to me, and I started to spend a lot of time by myself in my room, and I started to develop stomach issues. I couldn't eat. I was getting acid reflux, a whole bunch of other things that the doctors didn't know what was happening, and I had to sleep upright for months, couldn't sleep in a bed because of the acid reflux, and
TMJ
on top of that.
I had that for a year. It's
yeah. Well, there was
nice.
For 7, 8 days I couldn't open my mouth. Just kind of drinking liquids and stuff. And every time I talked, every time I smiled, just massive pain.
In your jaw.
In my jaw, in my head. And like there was days where I would just wake up, I would cry, I would wake up, I would go to sleep, and it was just constant, just anguish to the point where you just thought, okay, what do you want me to do with my life? I can't talk. I can't even sleep. I can't smile, it hurts. And
so it's a physical derailment that you're dealing with, but also
yeah.
a complete identity crisis.
It is. Well, I didn't know really what my use was. As far as personality, when you can't talk, when you can't
express yourself,
I felt like my personality was just taken away, and I became really afraid because I thought, no one's gonna want to talk to me, no one's want to spend time with me. I'm just this useless shelf toy. But God had to restate to me what my purpose was. And it wasn't for me to talk. It wasn't for me to sing. It wasn't for me to even smile, but to show his love to other people. And I had to do that in new ways, whether it was praying for people, whether it was writing to them. And that was a powerful moment for me because I had to surrender everything. And my value did not come from what I could do, but my ability to love and to show his love to other people.
There's that verse that Jim referred to right at the top of the program, Romans 12, verse 1. Submit your body a living sacrifice.
And it's painful.
That's tough. That's everything. With no promise of where that will lead, except to God's good, pleasing, and perfect will.
Right.
Is that where you landed?
That's where I landed.
What was it like when you got your voice back? Hey, did that come in an unexpected moment, or?
Well, when you don't talk for a long time, it's just like anything, you have to retrain. And so I went to the specialist, and we looked at my vocal cords. She's like, Amy, you can talk, you can sing. I'm like, no, I can't. She's like, yeah, go ahead. And so it was like, and it was just so weird. And I was just trying to make noises with my voice. And then my parents were talking to them, and I went onto the car to wait for my parents. And in the car, I was just kind of groaning and listening to my voice. And I probably started crying again because it was just like I hadn't heard sound for so long. And even to go home, I had to go on the piano. I was sitting middle C. I must have hit that C for about 5 weeks, just trying to get it on tune. And I remember the first time I sang kind of a full song. I have a soundtrack karaoke to "You Raise Me Up," and I played that. And the high note, I was pretty strong through, and then the last high note I couldn't hit. And I remember being afraid. I thought, maybe I'll never be able to hit notes again, like high notes again. Maybe my voice will just be alto or tenor, like a low tenor. So there was fear, not knowing how much God was gonna restore that back to me. But he did, and my prayer was my prayer didn't become so much, God, take away my pain, God, take away my trial, or heal me. It was, if you're going to leave me like this, if this is my life, then show me my purpose even through this.
Wonderful, wonderful prayer.
And I think a lot of people get stuck in this is my problem, and they despair. And the difference between, I think, someone who has a relationship with God is not that there's no suffering, not that we have no problems, but that our suffering and our problems have meaning. And it makes the journey bearable. It makes it exciting. And that's something I want to share with everybody.
And you do. You've been on so many missions trips. You're having a hard time completing university. What is this, fifth year? And you're involved with Campus Crusade there at the University of Guelph, and worship leading, and using all that you've learned in this crucible to encourage others. Just learned last week, half of all U.S. college students consider suicide. 89 people a day in the U.S. succeed in taking their lives because they lose hope. They lose a reason. And how meaningful that you are reaching as many as you can to say there's someone you can trust with your life, whatever your circumstance.
Right.
You're going to sing about that victory that you found in him, Amy. I'm going to let you walk off as I show people your new CD, very new, Amy Savin. iTunes is a place to go, or Amy's website. You can log on to our website to find out more about that. Don't take your life. Don't take your life. Give it to the one who does have a plan. A friend of Amy says Isaiah 40:31 frames her life. And that verse says, those who wait upon the Lord will renew their strength. They will mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Hang in. And you'll say with Amy, won my heart.